Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. In today's tutorial we're taking a big leap forward in our Unity game development series. We will be integrating the animation blend tree which we created in our previous video with our character's movement. This is where things get really exciting in game development. Remember this? Our character moving in a basic T-pose. It's functional, but not quite what we want in a polished game. And now, see the transformation. This is what we're aiming for, our character moving seamlessly with full animations. It's about bringing our game world to life with realistic character movement. Before we dive in, there is only one day left to grab the Unity Mega Bundle for just $23. This isn't just any bundle, it includes the very environment we've been using it in this tutorial. Plus, you'll get another stylized fantasy environment perfect for your RPG game, and many more incredible assets. Each asset is a gem, adding value and depth to your game development toolkit. So, with that fantastic deal in mind, let's get started on today's tutorial. We're going to merge the technical with the creative, ensuring our character not only moves, but moves with style and purpose. Let's bring our character to life. Okay, so let's get into it. This is where we left off last time. We have the blend tree and we also have this CH39 non-PBR character. Now let's rename that because that's weird. So let's do player instead of that, and right click, prefab, unpack completely. Great, and let's rename our blend tree. Let's do maybe movement. Yes, and also let's go to parameters here. And now we showed in the previous video, so if you take the player and drag it here and zoom a bit out, we have our character in an idle position. And if we increase this blend, let's say to 1, it will start running. So let's give it a better name for it. Let's say forward speed. Now you see it renamed it here in the blend tree as well. So now we actually know better what this is. And let's go back here to our new player, and we need to add a few components that we have on the capsule. So let's move to the scene. It seems like the character is not there. So let's try to find it. Okay, found it. Let's move this above. And actually we can do something else. So click on player, go to transform, copy position, and go to the player, right click, paste position. Now let's move back to the player. Great, and let's move it to the side. Okay, now we have the capsule and our character right here. So let's add the nav mesh agent from the player. So go to the old player and click nav mesh agent and go to copy component, go to the new player and paste component as new. Now we have the nav mesh agent, but as you can see, this quote-unquote collider is below where it's supposed to be. So you have this base offset here, and if you decrease it, it's gonna start going up. So I think this is good for us. Let's reduce a bit the radius as well. I think that's good, and a bit the height. Great. Now we need something else from the old player. We need the mover script. So let's do that again. So copy component, back to the new player, and paste component as new. Okay, and we also have this animator component. What do we need to do here is to basically add the controller we've just created. So just go to the button here and click on the player animator. Now we have the animator, and that has a blend tree with a forward speed. We have the nav mesh agent, which is the old nav mesh agent, and we also have the mover script. Let's delete the old player because we're not going to use the capsule anymore. So let's just go right click and delete. In order to perfectly synchronize our character's movement with their animations, there are 3 crucial steps we need to implement in our script. Let's break these down on our slide here. First up, we need to capture the global velocity from the nav mesh agent. The nav mesh agent controls how our character navigates the game world, so its velocity tells us how fast and in what direction our character is moving. Secondly, we'll convert this global velocity into a local value relative to the character. This is important because our animations are based on the character's local movement, not their movement in the game world. By converting to the local velocity, we can accurately match the animation to the character's current action. Lastly, we'll set the animator's blend value to match our desired forward speed, specifically on the z-axis. The blend tree in our animation uses these blend values to determine which animation to play and how to transition between animations. By setting this value, we're essentially telling the animator how fast the character should appear to be moving in the animation, ensuring that it matches their actual movement speed. And now, before we move forward, we need to do something small but very important. So if you go to your follow camera, you need to bring the new player into the player transform. Now, when you hit play, your camera might not be adjusted correctly, but you can go to the main camera and adjust the camera as you want. So basically adjust the transform. I think for me that was fine. And then just before you stop the game, you click to these three dots and copy and say component, and then you close the game and you pass in the values to the camera. Okay, now let's go to the mover script. So let's go into the mover script, and here we need to create a private variable of type animator. Let's call it animator. And in the start method, we need to get that component. So animator equals get component and say animator. And now, because I want when I hold the mouse to be my character to follow my mouse, instead of get mouse button down, we should use the method get mouse button. Great. Now let's create another method called update animator. And let's say void update animator. And here we want a vector tree velocity equals agent.velocity. So we're getting the velocity from the nav mesh agent, like we've discussed in the slide. Now we need to basically convert this global velocity into local velocity. So we should say vector tree local velocity equals transform dot inverse transform direction, and we need to pass in the global velocity. So velocity. Okay, so like we've discussed previously in the slide, now we have the local velocity and we need to get that z value. So float speed equals local velocity dot z, and now we need to pass this into the forward speed we've created in the blend tree. So we want to do animator dot set float. Here pass in the name you've chosen for the parameter in blend tree. So for me it's forward speed. Be careful not to have any typos because this won't work. It won't detect that variable. So, and we should pass in the speed we got from the local velocity. Okay, now if we go back into Unity, we let it compile and hit play. It seems like we have some compiling issues. Yes, I have a typo. So in here, it's not animator, it's animator. We did that. Now, if we go back in here, we shouldn't have any issues. Yes, now we don't have any problems. Let's clear that. Okay, so let's test this out. Let's hit play. And it seems like the animation is playing. However, the way the animation looks is a bit off, right? So if you go into the nav mesh agent right here, let's adjust these values. So I've tested this a bit, and I think with 6 for speed and 5,000 here for angular speed and also 10 acceleration, the movement should be much better, but you can experiment this with whatever values you want. It seems like
It's still a bit off. Maybe increase a bit the speed. So let's do 8. I think that's much better, but you can tune these values as you want. I think for me, this is good enough for the moment. It seems that the first few steps are a bit off as well. Let's try higher acceleration here. Yeah, this is much better. So let's do 28 for speed and 5,000 for angular speed. So this looks much better than at the beginning. Now, before you stop the game, don't forget to click on these 3 dots, copy component, close, and again here, and paste component values. So you will have them saved here. And that's a wrap on the first part of our journey towards creating an RPG reminiscent of Diablo 3. We've successfully integrated our animation blend tree with our character's movement, marking a significant milestone in our course on basic movement. Now, as we gear up for the next exciting phase of our series, I want to remind you of the fantastic bundle we've been talking about. Don't forget to click the link in the description to grab this amazing deal. It's packed with assets that would elevate your game development, and it's only available for a limited time. Looking ahead, we're stepping into the realm of basic combat. Each episode will be set to release every evening at 6 p.m. GMT, and that's just the beginning. We'll also be exploring enemy AI, character stats, and much more. This is going to be a long-running and enriching project, so make sure you're subscribed and ready for each new installment. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more content just like this. Your support and engagement are what keeps this channel alive and thriving. Thank you for being part of this adventure. Remember, we're not just coding and designing here, we're creating entire worlds and bringing them to life. And I'm thrilled to be on this journey with you. So until next time, keep developing, keep learning, and most importantly, keep enjoying the process. I'll see you at 6 p.m. GMT for our next exciting step in building our RPG. Don't miss it.